We start off this hour as tensions are rising between India and Pakistan following the deadly terrorist attack in Pahalgam on April the 22nd that claimed the lives of 26 civilians. Amid growing diplomatic fallout, nearly 800 Pakistani nationals have left India through the Attari-Waghar border in just 6 days, following a government directive for short-term visa holders to exit the country by April the 27th. Meanwhile, India's External Affairs Minister Jai Shankar has reached out to foreign ministers from 7 non-permanent UN Security Council members to build international consensus. India is pointing to cross-border linkages in the attacks and has vowed a strong response. Former Pakistani Prime Minister Imran Khan, currently jailed, has called the incident tragic but warned India against placing blame without evidence. Tensions have further escalated with continued ceasefire violations along the line of control as Pakistani forces opened fire in multiple sectors in Jammu and Kashmir for a 6th consecutive night. Meanwhile, Pakistan has reiterated comments of an alleged and imminent strike by India. Well, joining us to discuss these latest developments is retired Major General Rajan Kochar, who is a defence expert. Thank you for joining us today, Major General. I'd like to start off by talking about this meeting, the cabinet meeting that Prime Minister Narendra Modi is holding. What's the significance of this meeting and what can we expect to be an outcome?
Thank you, Joshua, for inviting me to the program. It's a very significant meeting. If you would be aware, yesterday evening there was a meeting with the Prime Minister's chair. 7 members were there, and all those were there was supposed to be carrying out a military action. You had the 3 service chiefs, you had the CDS, you had the Defence Minister, you had the NSA, and the Prime Minister himself. So certain decisions have been taken yesterday, and the chiefs have been conveyed that they have an open hand now to plan an operation, to select the targets and the timing of the operation. I think that has been made very, very clear to them. So today's meeting is a fallout of yesterday's meeting, because the Cabinet Committee on Security is the first and the foremost important committee which needs to be informed of the decision of the government. And the other wings of the government, in terms of railways, in terms of healthcare, in terms of infrastructure, in terms of finance, external affairs, everybody has to be kept into the picture. I would say the larger picture. So I think the things are moving towards a conflict. I have no doubt there is going to be a response or a military response from India, because the type of events which have actually unfolded, I am seeing this happening after 2002, when we had the Operation Parakram. At that point of time, when the mobilization of the forces had taken place on the Rajasthan border, Sialkot, and all those areas, we saw the entire Indian Army there. A similar kind of a situation is developing as of now. So what I could foresee is that this Cabinet Committee on Security, after it meets, there'll be a meeting of Cabinet Committee on Political Affairs. There'll be a meeting of the Cabinet Committee on Economic Affairs. So this is the normal process we follow in our functioning of the government when such an eventuality is foreseen. Joshua.
Yes, Major General, we have seen reports of a 6th night of breaches of the truce at the line of control. What's the significance of this continued alleged firing that we've heard from Pakistanis over the other side of the Indian border?
Joshua, these are provocative attempts. These are attempts by Pakistan to needle us, to actually provoke us, because we saw the first provocation in the form of a speech by the Pakistan Army Chief General Munir, in which he raised the Kashmir issue. He talked about Muslims and Hindus and all those things. And it was unwarranted, because normally a military leader will not be giving a speech of this kind. Then we saw on 22nd of April, we saw the Pahalgam. So it was a fallout to the minds of the Pakistan military. They wanted this sort of an action to be carried out. So that was the second provocation. The third provocation is we are seeing on the line of control, as you rightly said, there have been a large number of ceasefire violations, and therefore India had to resort to diplomatic means first, trying to send a signal to Pakistan, message to Pakistan that we mean the business, the Indus Water Treaty, and all those other diplomatic measures were actually carried out. And now we are going to see a military response because there is no letting up by Pakistan of the kind of provocation. Joshua, you would be aware of the type of statements being made by their ministers. And today, the ISPR, the head of the Pakistan Army, General Chaudhary, has also you made a press conference in which he is blaming India for all that is happening in Pakistan and trying to portray India as a terrorist nation. So I think things have gone beyond a diplomatic. Even the United States is trying to advise India to show restraint. I don't think we are going to listen to any country now. We have decided to carry out a military response as of now.
Yes, Major General Koja, I would like to quickly touch on that. We are running shorter on time, but you mentioned there the US, Marco Rubio, saying that calls will be had with members of the governments in India and Pakistan, also the UN warning against escalations. You say that you don't think any of those warnings will be heard at this point following the devastating terror attack in Pahalgam. Why do you think that is?
You see, there is a lot of anger in the country because we have had enough. We saw so many things happening, the infiltration taking place in Rajouri, Poonch in the last 18 months. You have lost a lot of our soldiers and our civilians. So this military response will be there, but I foresee only one single window as far as the US advisory is concerned, that whenever we carry out a military response, we should not expect a retaliation from Pakistan. That constraint of the United States, Rubio, has to be passed on to Pakistan, that India should be allowed to do a military response because the provocation has come from Pakistan. Because I foresee that in case Pakistan is going to retaliate, it is going to culminate into a near warlike situation, because then India is also going to retaliate after that. And it is a sort of a never-ending process, because once you reach a flashpoint in the war, being a military man myself, I can tell you today the forces are facing eyeball to eyeball. Indian army has been mobilized, Pakistan army has been mobilized. So all we need is a flashpoint. And moment there is a flashpoint, unfortunately there will be war.
Retired Major General Rajan Koja, thank you ever so much for joining us.